What is going on, everyone? It's me, Ninja Sir, bringing you some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 beta review, and today I'm going to be talking about my overall opinion, what I think about the game, what they could improve, what they could buff or nerf, and whether I enjoyed this game or not, and let's get to it. And the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 movement, not as overpowered as Advanced Warfare was with its exo boost. It was quite annoying with Advanced Warfare because you could be on a pretty massive streak and out of nowhere someone would just pop out of the air, shoot you or punch you. It was really annoying because it ruined your day, and I was like, wow. I was really annoyed sometimes with some of the exo boost kills, and it was really annoying. That's why I love the Black Ops 3, because it is not as annoying and overpowered as it was on Advanced Warfare. Whenever you jump, you ascend on a very slow rate. You do not just ascend at a very quick rate like you did in Advanced Warfare. You can't get as high up as you did in Advanced Warfare. So you do become quite vulnerable whenever you use the exo thrust, because you're going so slow up in the air. But you're a really easy target to pick off. Only use it. I recommend only using it whenever you're shooting an enemy and you know they're one shot, they're behind some cover, maybe a rock. Just jump over the rock, take that quick kill, and that is all I would use it for, guys. Other than that, do not use it. You will be an easy target to pick off. And let's get to the next movement. The next movement is the wall riding. I repeat, the wall riding only used for riding the walls for fun or from getting to point A to point B. That is all I really have to say about that. Take it from personal experience, guys. I've been trying to do some weird wall riding tactics, and you will end up dead most of the time. Sometimes you can pull it off, but most of the time you will end up dead. Take it from personal experience, guys. And the next thing we're going to be talking about is the weapon balance and the time to kill. These two both do link up. I'm going to talk about them in separate ways. So let's talk about the balance first of the weapons. Personally, I think all the weapons are pretty much balanced. I haven't seen a weapon that's very OP from the rest. I think all the weapons are balanced with each other. Some are better at other things, some better at fire rate, some are better at damage, some better at range. It all varies in the weapons. I don't really think any weapon's too OP from the other. I think they're all pretty well balanced. That's why I love this game a little bit too much, because all weapons are balanced, so you see a lot of variety of weapons every match. You don't just see the same one over and over again like you did in Advanced Warfare and some previous Call of Duties for those tryhards out there. And now let's talk about the time to kill. Basically, what time to kill is how long it takes you to be killed, or how long it takes you to kill somebody. I think it's perfect, just like Black Ops 2, but they could just slow it down a little bit, because sometimes I noticed myself dying a little bit too quickly and I couldn't really get those nice turn-on kills. And the next thing we're going to be talking about is something very short. We're going to be talking about the camos. Personally, I think I did everything right with the camos. The only thing that I can see that is a problem is after a few matches, your camo would disappear, which is quite annoying. But it's still there, so I would really wish they fixed that. And the last thing I'm going to be talking about is the Black Ops 3 Specialist. If you guys do not want to hear about this in any shape, way, or form, I will click off the video. This is the last thing I'm going to be talking about, the beta, so let's get to it. And the first specialist I'm going to be talking about is the Ruin Specialist. It has gravity spikes and overdrive. Let's talk about gravity spikes first. Yes, I have heard gravity spikes are quite OP, and I agree they are OP to a sense, but you can actually prevent this from happening if you're quick enough and have the reflexes to stop it. You can actually shoot the guy down mid gravity spike. I have pulled this off a couple of times. If you know what you're doing, you could probably prevent mass destruction in all your teammates. This weapon is mostly used for domination and hardpoint, because it can just wreck a whole bunch of people. Since people are trying to capture the hardpoint or capture the flag, you can wreck a whole bunch of teammates and get a lot of quick score real easy by just slamming them all to the ground. And its ability is overdrive, basically just like overclock from Advanced Warfare. It speeds up your time to get from point A to point B. You essentially just run faster, but I think they need to increase the time just a little bit, because I felt like it ran out of time a little bit too quickly. Yes, it is 10 times faster in my opinion than overclock, or I mean overclock from Advanced Warfare, but I think the time should be just a little bit better, since this is a specialist ability. It's just a rare thing to get, and you should definitely have more time to run. And the other specialist I'm going to be talking about is the Outrider. Personally, one of my favorite specialists. It has the Sparrow and the Vision Pulse. Let's talk about the Vision Pulse first, since I do use that a lot. Vision Pulse is basically just like threat detection, or since you can see through walls, the enemies are all red. Especially used for when you're in the enemy spawn and you know they're all over the place and you're trying to get lots of kills, but you don't know exactly where they are since you don't have a UAV. You can pop that on, see exactly where they're at, and get some nice and easy kills. or maybe when you're trying to hold down the hard point, your whole team is down, the enemy is coming right at you, you know they're about to come in from many directions, you know exactly where they're at. Start pre-firing those walls, start pre-firing those doorways to prevent them from capturing the hard point until your team spawns. And its power weapon is the Sparrow. Personally, I haven't really used this weapon much, but from what I've seen, you have to be pretty far range to get the kills. If you're a little bit too close, you might end up dead. And that's really all I really have to talk about this weapon, because I haven't really had much experiences with it. So let's get on to the next specialist character. The next specialist character I'm going to be talking about is the Prophet. It has the Tempest and the glitch ability. Let's talk about the glitch ability first. So from what I've seen so far, from what I experienced, the glitch ability is a little bit sometimes overpowered, but most of the time it will not, because people can actually see where you're glitching to, so it's not as overpowered as people think. And sometimes you can actually glitch back into a different scenario where you can actually end up dead. You can actually be in a bigger situation than you normally are. Maybe you're being shot at by 2 guys, you glitch back into a room with 4 guys, and you probably end up dead anyway. So you actually got to be pretty careful with the glitch ability. It can be a good thing and a bad thing. And its power weapon is the Tempest. It's basically like the Wonderwall from World at War and Black Ops 1 Zombies, if you guys ever played that. It's basically an electric weapon that chains up with other enemies nearby. Mostly useful for hardpoint and domination, because all the enemies are gathered up and together. It's not really that OP, because you do need to charge and you need to be quite accurate with it. So if you do miss, the enemy will know you're there and they will try to shoot you as quick as possible, because normally when I see a Tempest shooting at me, I try to kill him as quick as possible. I'm not trying to get electrocuted and get my whole team destroyed by one chain of lightning. So yeah. And the next specialist ability we're going to be talking about is Seraph. I'm not really sure if that's how you pronounce her name, but she has the Annihilator and the Combat Focus. Let's talk about the Annihilator first. It's basically a one-shot kill pistol. It is really powerful. You can get probably 2 kills at once, maybe 3 if you're lucky. But this weapon is really useful for basically anything. You just want to get one-shot kills. You have to be pretty accurate with, though. If you do miss your first shot and you're in a gunfight, you'll most likely end up dead, because the weapon does take a little bit longer to get the bullet back in the chamber. So I'm not really sure what the correct term is for that, but I will say it does take a while to shoot another bullet. So you got to be careful with that. You got to be pretty accurate to use this ability. And its ability is Combat Focus, which is basically doubles your points for each kill. It is especially useful for objective modes, any objective modes, maybe where you're capturing a flag, capturing the hard point, or maybe excuse me, maybe when you are about to get a whole bunch of kills and you're just like a couple of score away from your score streaks, and you just need a couple more kills. You pop off 2 guys, you get double the score, and then you get your wraps or whatever you're rocking. And the next specialist we're going to be talking about is the Reaper. It has the Synth and the Psygnosis. Let's talk about the Psygnosis first. Basically what it does, it makes 3 copies of yourselves, coats them in blue, and coats yourself as blue. So basically they're decoys, and the enemy does not know which is the real and which is the fake. The only time they'll know which is the real, which is the fake, is if they shoot you, and if they get hit markers, then it's you. If they don't, then they know it's a decoy. So it's pretty useful for evading enemies, trying to capture game modes, maybe playing some search and destroy and distracting them while you're planting or something like that. And its weapon is the Synth, which is just like a giant minigun. In my opinion, this weapon needs to be nerfed a little bit. It shoots so quickly and it has such high damage that it just melts enemies in such a short time. Even for me, I think this weapon was a little bit too OP. Even if I used it, I felt a little bit bad for the team, because I would just melt them really quickly. So this gun definitely needs to get a nerf. And the next specialist ability is the Battery. I did use the Battery a little bit once in a while, but I used it just a little bit, guys. Honestly, I don't really have much knowledge about it, but it has the War Machine and the Kinetic Armor. Basically, what the Kinetic Armor does is makes you invincible for like 3 to 5 seconds, and you can't take any damage but the head. So it is pretty useful when you're taking a lot of enemy fire. You're about to capture a hard point. There's a whole bunch of enemies in there, and you don't want to get shot at and get destroyed right away since you enter the door. But you are pretty weak in the head, so you got to be careful with that. Make sure get that head protection, got a helmet or something. No, I'm kidding. So, and its power weapon is the War Machine, basically a giant noob tube, something that shoots grenades. I haven't really seen much people use it, and I don't really think it's that effective. They definitely, I know this is a bad thing to say because I honestly hate noob tubes personally, but they need to buff it just a little bit more because it doesn't really do much damage in my personal opinion, but that's just me. And the next specialist ability is the Nomad. I know people are very controversial about this ability. It has the, not about this specialist, it has the Hive and the Reject. Let's talk about the Reject since it is the most controversial ability ever. Reject basically revives you. It's like second chance, but you revive yourself. I know people think it might be OP, but what I actually think it's not that OP. I think it's underpowered, to say the least, because you can get killed and people do know you're there, so people will actually camp your dead body, and 9 out of 10 times you'll probably be shot down by the team, and the other time you'll probably survive and evade, barely though. So I do think maybe the smoke has to be a little bit bigger or something, or maybe you don't have to be positioned right in the middle where people just punch you or shotgun you, which is really annoying sometimes when you use this ability. And its power weapon is the Hive. I haven't used this weapon once, actually. From what I've seen, it's basically just good to hold down hard points, but I really haven't seen anybody use it at all. From what I've heard, it just needs to be buffed a little bit more. I'm not really sure if it's true, but this is all the knowledge I have on the Hive so far. And last but not least is the Spectre specialist ability as the Ripper and the active Camel. Let's talk about the Ripper first. In my opinion, the Ripper does nothing. It basically brings you back to the old Call of Duties, like in Black Ops 2, where you can shoot and bring out your knife out of nowhere and just panic knife or panic punch if you're playing Advanced Warfare. So it's basically like the old CODs, instead of Black Ops 3 where you have to butt them with your weapon twice to get a melee kill. But I think a better thing they should change it to would be like the Call of Duty Ghost Maniac. That'd be a funner thing to use. It essentially is a Juggernaut with a freaking knife, and I think that'd be a lot funner to use than the Ripper, which is not really a really good specialist ability in my eyes. So I think they should definitely change that to the Maniac. It would be a lot funner and a lot cooler, to be honest. So last and the best of all abilities is the active Camo. My second favorite is obviously the Vision Pulse, because I just love that, to be honest. But the active Camo is the most OP thing, even though it's not that OP as people really think it is. I don't really sure much people have used it, but when I use it, I go ham with it. So basically what it does, it makes you invisible for 3 seconds to 5. I'm not really sure the exact time, but you can basically be shot by an enemy, go invisible, they won't be able to see you, but as soon as you start shooting your gun, the invisible thing, I'm not really sure how to word this correctly, but you will stop being invisible as soon as you shoot your gun. They will see you, and you will also be on the radar as well. So this is really good for sneaking around enemies when they're aiming at a specific line of sight, and you need to sneak behind them to get the kill so you can stop being spawn killed. Basically, for campers, they won't be able to see you. You'll run up behind them and just shoot them out of nowhere, and they'll basically won't expect it. So that has been the end for the Black Ops 3 beta review. If you guys do have any questions or anything you think I should have added, what are your thoughts on the game in general of the Black Ops 3 beta? Let me know in the comment section down below. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.